Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
We have a lot of fun. What are you looking over my shoulder? You stop looking over here. You're making me nervous.
Am I making you nervous?
Well, you're not going to have like circus animals showing up and stuff. I don't like surprises.
I know you don't. You hate surprises.
I don't. Well,
but there's one. There's only one. One surprise. And he's coming in right now. This is the only thing we needed to do for you today.
I don't like surprises.
I know you don't, but you weren't going to get away with this one. So take a look over your right hand.
What? What? Brian? Hi, Brian. Is Brian's my surprise?
1,000 shows. Needs something special.
Whoa! Thank you, Brian.
Congratulations, sir.
Live reaction on the air. Dude, where's yours?
A silver stick for
Where's
1,000
yours?
shows.
Where's yours?
It's back home.
Oh, you have one?
I'm getting one.
Okay, good, because I can't accept this. Because it's a team. I feel all the guys. Thank you, Brian.
So thank you to Brian.
He's the best, man. This guy gets it. He gets it. Thank you. Well, I'm a little overwhelmed here.
That surprise we needed. So
can we go play mini sticks out in the alley after with this thing?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Moose. I really appreciate you.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
So, is there anything you want to say before we get serious about sports talk, about this being episode 1,000?
Yeah, it's a big deal that we have 1,000 episodes.
It is.
We thought it was a big deal, and it was a big deal to get on the air with episode 1. It was a really big deal to get to episode 100, and now it's a huge deal to get on the air for episode 1,000. But the show doesn't happen without you being behind the mic for 1,000 shows.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Thank you, Rick Regan. And how about this? It is episode number 1001. Back in our South Florida studio. A big thank you to the Beach House Pompano for hosting us in the 1,000th episode on Monday. And I've got all my props with me and tools, and I have my co-host with me, too. Darren Moose DuPont joining us out here in what we in Florida call the Line A. Well, they call it the lanai, a screened-in patio. I call it the Line A. What do you think of the Line A, Moose?
The studio is gorgeous.
Isn't it?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
As a South Florida studio should be. It's open air. You know, not completely outside, but it's open air. It's very breezy. And the thing I noticed about being down here again, all your problems seem to just kind of go away.
Everybody's
or at least
happy.
I care about them less. There's that
you've
for
noticed.
sure. There's that for sure.
Well, I'm going to tell you, coming up on the program today, the owner and president of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, Richard Petko, is going to be with us as their season is nigh. And they got a major announcement just came down today. Beautiful timing on that. The Kissing Bandit, Adriano Belli, is going to be joining us, a Canadian Football League great. He's one of the greatest all-time characters in CFL history. Now a Toronto very wealthy businessman and butcher. Adriano Belli is going to be with us later on in the program today. We're going to get to our quick six show topics today, shortly, but it's everybody just settle down, grab a coffee, take a big pull on it. I said to Moose, calm down, because it's not going to be like the blur that yesterday was. And a huge thank you to the whole crew. Clark, Jordan, Ryan, Paul, did I say Morgan, yourself. Yesterday was an unreal show. I can't imagine what it was like behind the scenes trying to pull that all off.
That was really cool.
But you folks did, guys and gals, so thank you. Now here today, let's just woo-saw a couple things before we get to the sports talk, because that's what everybody came here for today. Darren, you're getting to know now all the characters, the cast and crew. Thad, the manager of the Beach House. Chris, my Bronx buddy, Chris Sanford. You met him?
Yes.
Who else are you meeting? Jess, the beautiful Jess from Boresco Restaurant.
Oh, they're awesome.
What do you think about this? This is my life.
Yeah, you know, I tell you privately, but you're living in a sitcom, man. I mean, every day but you got your cast of characters, you got your different sets, right? The Beach House is one set here, there, getting to drive by FAU and all the different places and the haunts, Brooklyn Water Bagel, and to this morning, the Starbucks. It's great. I'm glad I'm meeting everybody.
He's such what should I say? I was going to say a farmer, but you're not a farmer. You're such a small town Sask guy. Because not everybody from a small town is a farmer.
That's right.
But we just tell them the Jeep story before we get to the sports. And we have a movie review coming because Moose and I went to the movies last night. But the Jeep story on Federal, this was hilarious.
Yeah, we turn out on the Federal, the highway for the first time, and ripping by, and we're not on the road 10 seconds in a row. It's like this, waving. I'm like.
And they were waving back.
And they were waving. Oh no, they were waving back. Like it might as well have been. I'm gonna fake this here.
What?
Like hand on the wheel. The
Sask wave.
The Sask wave, right?
Yeah,
like the one
two
finger.
fingers.
Two fingers. Depends where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Milestone might have been 2 fingers. I think it was 1 in Wynyard. But I'm like, all these people? He's like, no, Jeep drivers. And I never thought it was a real thing. But you said all Jeep drivers acknowledge other Jeep drivers. And then we were at a red light. Cool Jeep, man. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah,
But
they're all talking.
It's cool. It's cool.
My dad had the 2-finger windshield wiper wave.
Yeah.
That was my dad, the milestone
And you
wave.
do it on the gravel roads or small town.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know these people necessarily, all of them, but you might. So you wave to them all.
Right, and here the Jeep owners, we all wave at each other. It's pretty cool. So we got a lot to get to, but it is a sports talk show, but also the Rod Pedersen Show. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? And we'll get down to business. We're going to start with hockey. We have a lot of things to get to. I know people are writing in about Aaron Judge. Considering the fact they've been asked about it 3 times, we'll get to it. But Rupe Hintz and Wyatt Johnston scored, and Jake Ottinger stopped 22 at 23 shots as the Dallas Stars defeated the visiting Seattle Kraken 2-1 Monday night to win their second-round Stanley Cup Playoff Series in 7. Oliver Bjorkstrand scored for Seattle with 18 seconds left in the game, but the series is over, as is the Cinderella story of the Kraken. Great season for them. The Stars now advance to the Western Conference Final and will play the Vegas Golden Knights starting on Friday. Moose and I went to the movie Blackberry last night. It was fantastic. Came back and saw, I would say, Moose, all we needed to see of the Stars-Kraken game last night, and it was wild.
Yeah, we did. And, I mean, we're watching that third period, and I'm, like, looking at the shots. You can see Dallas is outplaying them. We had later, extensively watched the highlights and the long form of the game and things like that and saw the way it unfolded. But we saw the game winner. We saw all that mattered. And really, in that third period, I mean, until, the final minute, the Kraken only had 2 or 3 shots in the whole third period. And when you're trying to get a pushback in Game 7, they just didn't have it, and Dallas was too strong defensively. They played a really tight game, and they earned a trip to the conference final.
And we'll get to the poll question in a moment as to who's the favorite now. But the Rod Squad's awake. They're alive. Ryan O'Radio from WQEE. Time for the RP show. And indeed, we are Atlanta's NHL show. I'm very proud of that. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says Darren is meeting all of Rod's entourage. He's meeting many, and you're going to meet more this afternoon. We're going to the Golden Corral tonight. We're going to FLA Live Arena. You met my hairstylist.
Yeah.
What's left?
I don't know.
Not that many, man. Are you ready to go home? I don't feel like you're ready to go home.
No, I'm kind of, I'm a creative guy.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who likes to look for solutions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of trying to see, can I extend this?
So try losing your passport. That works real well.
Good idea.
John Schmeiser says, good morning from Kansas City. Good morning. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, Rod's living the life of Riley. LOL. It's paradise for Rod. It is, and I'm very happy about that. And thank you, Wayne, for pointing that out. Now, moving on to point 2, the Carolina Hurricanes may be getting a boost for their NHL Eastern Conference Final Series against the Florida Panthers. Forward Teuvo Teravainen has resumed full practice and says he's ready to play. Teravainen has been out since suffering a hand injury in Game 2 of the first round against the Islanders. The Canes-Panthers series starts Thursday in Carolina. Later on today, we're going to do deal or no deal for our exclusive betting partner, the Canadian-owned Bet Regal. We'll give our round 2 picks. I woke up this morning with a text messages from my guy, Thad, whom you met. Biggest Panthers fan I know, season ticket holder. He's like, can we please drag you to a watch party on Thursday night for Game 1? The game doesn't start till 8. I'm like, yes, you can drag me to the watch party. I'll be there. You'll be gone by then, Moose.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the picks later on. I'm putting a little bit of thought into mine. But, of course, you can always go sign up and start betting for free and for fun at betregal.ca. But the poll question today, what's today, Tuesday? is for Key Auto Group. The all-new Sportage reimagines innovation in motion, an urban SUV design with all the comforts for your next adventure. Order yours today at KeyYorktonKia.com or by calling 306-783-2772. The 2023 Kia Sportage, movement that inspires. The question today is, who now is the Stanley Cup favorite? Dallas or Vegas? Florida or Carolina? First time ever, 4 Sunbelt teams running away with it right now from what I've seen from our respondents on Twitter is the Vegas Golden Knights. I can only assume, Clark, that they're saying the same thing on YouTube. Are they? Because I would say Vegas. No? What are they saying? Florida leading, but we've only had it up for 10 minutes, okay. 8 minutes. But I'll be sprinkling in comments and commentary as we go, because that's what we do. It is the Rod Pedersen Show. Moose, at the movies last night. Everywhere you go, actually, people are down with the Panthers thing. Talk about the kid. Do you remember his name behind the concession that served me my licorice and popcorn?
Brady or Brody?
Yeah, Brady.
Yeah.
Moose got a name right.
How about that?
Write it down. He was all up in my face about the Panthers.
He was. And he's like, how about that upset in round 1? He knew what was going on. And so that was pretty good. I think the Carolina Panthers are the favorite. And the betting odds would reflect that as well. That the Carolina Hurricanes. I say Carolina Panthers. Carolina Hurricanes are the betting favorites. I think they're the favorites. And not just because I picked them to win the Cup way back at the beginning of the year, but I still think they're the best team left. They've been resting too. Florida's been through a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the Final Four.
Regarding Jeep drivers waving at each other, which we do all the time, and interestingly enough, there's like Jeep people and people who drive a Jeep. The people that drive a Jeep, they don't wave.
Yeah.
Their head is up their ass as they're driving down the A1A. But for Jeep people, of which I'm one, we're in tune with each other. And Carlos in Indianapolis writes in and he says, it's like that with bicyclists too. Oh, yeah. And truckers and bus drivers and anybody else that
No, I think you got
That's it?
Yeah.
We used to have a driver with the Pats named Sherwin Burrell. And I would take the old milk crate. I think they still have milk crates.
Yeah.
And I would flip that thing over and sit at the front of the bus with Sherwin on a long, long, long road trip. And this will not surprise you at all, Darren. I would sit with him and he would always wave at the bussies on the way by. And I would always say, you know that guy, Sherwin? You know that guy? After about the 6th time, he didn't think it was funny anymore.
That's funny.
You know that guy, Sherwin? No. They're getting into this Canadian curse thing, if there is such a thing. Well, there is. John in Edmonton says, I don't care who wins the Stanley Cup. I just wish the Gary Bettman curse never happens again to a Canadian NHL team. Rod, don't come at me. Get out of here with that. I have taken 24 to 48 hours to say that I'm, in fact, in favor of the 4 Sunbelt teams being in the Final Four, which this is the first time it's ever happened, by the way. The last time they even came close, 2020, Edmonton bubble. Vegas and Dallas met in the West, Islanders and Tampa in the East, and Bob's your uncle. But Serena was saying this morning, I was reading her these game notes, and she was like, they're trumpeting the fact that it's an all-American Sunbelt Final Four, which tells me she thinks the fix is in. Do you, Moose?
I don't. I think they like it because they really want to grow these fan bases. And the only way to grow the fan bases is to have winning teams and have success. And then you sell more merchandise and maybe more season tickets and you grow it. You really want to give them that extra shot. But I don't think the fix is in. I mean, is it a coincidence that, we haven't seen Canadian teams win the Stanley Cup since the 90s? That, the number of teams, I saw it by decade, from going all the way back 7 in 10 years to 8 to 9, 9, 7, 7. And now it's 0, 0, 0, and 1 or 2. Like, it's very rare that Canadian teams are winning. It's a bit of a problem, but I don't think the NHL hates it.
I don't think they hate it at all. As she said, they wouldn't be blaring the headlines out that it's an all Sunbelt Final Four if they weren't trying to promote it. But I don't know. There's a difference between Bettman wanting this to happen and Bettman making this happen. And I've been around both sides of the mulberry bush here. With the Rough Riders, we thought at times they were against us with calls, but then every other team in the CFL would say, you're getting all the calls.
Yeah.
It kind of did just depend on who the commissioner was. Mark Cohan, the commissioner at the time, made no bones of the fact he loved us. And during his time, we were in 4 Grey Cups.
Yeah.
How about that? And
How
then
about
he leaves,
that?
and the Riders can't get back. That's it. It's the commissioner's fault, not ours.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody ever wants to look in the mirror. Jennifer from the Four Seasons says, well, I can't cheer for Vegas, can't cheer for Carolina, and I can't cheer for Chucky, so I guess I'll be cheering for Dallas. Well, at least you got somebody to cheer for, right? Landry in Billings says, I want Florida to win it all, but I think Vegas has to be the favorite. I think they are, too. And from John Ohm says, what brand of car would the Roadrunner be? Jeep. That's bad.
How about that?
That's bad, John.
Hell yes.
But John Ohm says he's cheering for the Winnipeg Jets because of Pomo. Hey, we promised in the thumbnail that we put out that we would talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're your team, Darren.
Yes.
And producer Clark. Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas met with the media yesterday. I didn't read any of the coverage, but you did.
Yeah.
What came out of that year-end with the Leafs?
We're not sure where Kyle Dubas stands and what's next for him. I think, and Brendan Shanahan's going to chat and talk later this week. He has to decide, too, if he wants Kyle Dubas back. That's where it starts. And Kyle Dubas talked about, he was really open and honest, and I really liked seeing this side of him. He talked about needing to have a long conversation with his family, that it was a tough year on them and a tough year on him. And I've seen media talk about that and, what he means. I mean, he was yelling at opposition fans and fighting with them and slamming press box doors. And they said that was very uncharacteristic of Kyle Dubas, the stress starting to get to him. He did say, when asked that he's not looking elsewhere, at least not now. He said, don't expect me to pop up somewhere else in a week, Pittsburgh, Calgary, wherever, in a week. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be a long process. He has to figure it out. And then when it comes to Sheldon Keefe, he needs to figure out if he's the right guy or not. And he also talked about, well, we'd have to really look at what other options. It's not just about keeping him or losing him. It's about what options. What's the replacement look like? Is it better or worse? And then the core. I mean, Matthew says he wants to get an extension done before the season and stay in Toronto. That's positive for Leaf fans. Ryan O'Reilly's not sure. So we'll see where it goes, but it's going to be an offseason, I think, with change in Toronto.
You said if you were Brendan Shanahan or let's say Larry Tannenbaum, the big cheese of them all, you'd keep Dubas.
I would bring Dubas back, and I think if I'm Dubas, I'm probably looking long and hard about making a change behind the bench.
Ooh.
I know.
Football fans, Woody's RV World presents the Summer Football Road Trip hosted by the RP Show and Engelheim. You can get your tickets right now at rodpeterson.com. Click the banner. It includes charter transportation from Canada's Queen City to Calgary and back, courtesy Engelheim, June 23rd to the 25th. 2 nights accommodations at our Calgary host hotel, Hotel Cleat Calgary Airport, with complimentary breakfasts, exclusive pre- and post-game parties hosted by yours truly, and, of course, a ticket to the CFL game, Saskatchewan Roughriders and Calgary Stampeders on June 24th. Don't wait. Book today. Join us in Calgary for some tremendous CFL football. We're going to talk about some CFL stuff. Blue Jays, Aaron Judge, all kinds of topics when we come back. It's the RP Show, and this is the warm-up live on the Game Plus television network. Your favorite podcast platform, WQEE Radio and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Woody's RV World presents the Summer Football Road Trip, hosted by the Rod Peterson Show and Engelheim. Tickets now available at rodpeterson.com. Charter transport, accommodations at the beautiful Hotel Cleat, June 23rd to 25th. All the details at rodpeterson.com.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, what do you say? We're back live, the RP Show, episode number 1001. I really want to get to this movie review, but not right here because it is sports time here in the warm-up. Coming up, Richard Petko, the president of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, and then the Kissing Bandit in hour 2, Adriano Belli. But they've been talking about this since last night. Point 3, the quick 6. The Blue Jays' 4-game homestand with the Yankees got off to a rocky start Monday night. Toronto had its 3-game win streak snapped, courtesy of 7-4 setback. Control issues plagued Toronto starter Alek Manoah, who served up a career-high 7 walks. But that's not what anybody's talking about. They're talking about Aaron Judge, saying he was trying to identify which of his Yankees teammates was yelling at plate umpire Clint Vondrack when he peeked into his own dugout before hitting a 462-foot home run, his longest of the year last night. The Yankee slugger looked sideways for a moment before driving a 114-mile-an-hour scorcher off righty Jay Jackson. Judge said to the media after the game, there was kind of a lot of chirping from our dugout, which I really didn't like in this situation. They were up 6-0 at the time. 3 pitches later, Vondrack ejected New York manager Aaron Boone for arguing a low strike call to Judge. Boone came out of the dugout to vent at the umpire and crew chief James Hoy. Toronto broadcasters noticed Judge peeking into his own dugout before his homer and speculated he was looking for some kind of signal. Jays skipper John Schneider said after the game, it's kind of odd that a hitter would be looking in that direction. Aaron Judge said some of his teammates were still voicing their displeasure as his at-bat continued. So let's bring the Moose in. And for that matter, all of our audience participation here as we talk Major League Baseball a bit. I don't really understand. I've never really understood stealing signs or getting signals. Has this not been going on for literally over 100 years? I don't understand. This is a baseball thing, and I don't understand baseball culture.
I know.
I don't get it.
It goes back to the Houston Astros and the banging on the tin cans or whatever it was. And the garbage cans.
Lids, yes.
It didn't look good. I mean, in my eyes, like he's looking like this over there and then takes a pitch outside the ball. And then later they catch him again looking, boom, home run. Like, it'd be pretty easy to draw the lines from, okay, he knows something off speed and with movements coming, and then, oh, this looks like it's going to be in your wheelhouse, right? The call you're looking for, and he leans into it. Like, not looking at the pitcher. You know, usually you're studying the pitcher, waiting to see the seams of the ball as it comes out of the hands. I mean, we know how extremely fast and bang, bang this happens. But Judge is also one of the best hitters in baseball. So, you know, you could be distracted by that for sure. It's just funny because is it a coincidence or not? And if there any sort of signaling happening, it's such an egregious thing now in baseball to be stealing signs and unsportsmanlike and all of that, that I don't know if this is going to go any further or get any legs or not.
I just don't understand. He was getting signals of what the pitches were. That's part of the game, right? I think people were just upset that it was happening against their team, right?
Well, like, I mean, when we found out it was happening against Houston, I mean, there were sanctions and
what happened? They still kept their World Series trophy.
I know.
People lost their jobs. I understand.
But if this is something that happens with the Yankees, if they find out and look and there was actually signals happening, then there will be punishment. But we're going to be watching the Yankees really closely now, and the league's going to be watching them just because of any allegation. I don't know that this is really going to turn into anything, but it's just maybe it's coincidence too that he's looking and then smacks a home run at the same time. And Buck Martinez and Dan Schulman were very much like, yep. And he hit it a mile too. Like, they were almost like not surprised that he knocked it out of the park in the call.
Okay, trust me again. What do they say? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
I could sit here and, to be honest, go on about this for hours. I could, and that's what we do here on Daytime Talk. John Ohm in Winnipeg, who has been writing about this since we went to air 25 minutes ago, says, no hockey till Thursday? Ugh. I guess I'll watch the Yankees cheat against the Blue Jays tonight.
How about that?
Well, I'm going to take a different road than you might expect on that. If the teams and leagues, or specifically the leagues, are going to come out and rail on the integrity of the game, then when something like last night happens, you can see why fans would be upset.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it because I want to believe there's integrity, but deep down I know there isn't. Okay, is that fair?
Yeah. It's fair.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I really get it. And, I mean, but it's a little bit like, you know, your uncle when you're playing cards with grandma and all the family around the Thanksgiving table, and he's dealing the cards and just gives you one of these, right? Just a little look under the thing and knows what card's coming. Couldn't help himself. If he can see the card, you know, he can see your hand. He's going to look at your hand.
I agree, man.
You know, and I mean, if somebody on the dugout can see something, why wouldn't they signal to their guy, right? Hey, I see what's happening here. There's a shift in the outfield. The guy's tipping his pitch, whatever, right? And why wouldn't you look? I mean, sometimes you can't help it, but I don't know. It's not a good look, but at the end of the day, you still got to win the game. You still got to throw the pitch.
Well, can you? Now you see maybe why fans thought that the NHL draft lottery might be rigged, or that Gary Bettman once said all Final Four Sunbelt teams.
Yeah.
Well, they're cheating here. The Yankees are stealing signs, so clearly they rigged the draft lottery. Okay. Some people, we've already read their comments today, can so stop writing in. That's not you, John, in Winnipeg. It's another John. Okay, I'm stepping out of the cesspool that's the comment section and back on track.
Good idea.
I
can't see the comments.
No, he can't. We're going to talk about the Centennial Cup. For those that care, of which I really care. I was on a podcast this morning out of Lloydminster and said junior hockey is still my number one favorite. It's my favorite thing. So I'll just say this as a public service announcement for the junior hockey fans from all across Canada. On Monday at the Centennial Cup, the National Junior A Championship in Portage, Manitoba, here's what went down. The Ottawa Junior Senators beat Yarmouth 4-3. Yarmouth winless at 0-3. The Brooks Bandits. Do they cheat? They win all the time. They must cheat. The Brooks Bandits, the defending champions of the country, are 3-0. They slapped around Timmins 9-0 of Timmins, Ontario. And my Battleford's North Stars were huge winners over the host Terriers 3-2. So the Stars went to 2-1. Today's slate, the Cam River Fighting Walleye, which I couldn't find with a GPS, Cam River. I couldn't. But I want to. They come from that Northwestern Ontario Junior A League that we've never heard of any of the towns. But they play Collingwood, Ontario today. The Collingwood Blues, that could get ugly. We may need to call in the National Guard. Brooks playing again. They play the Cobra de Terrebonne. Guess where they're from? Quebec.
Yeah.
And it's Battleford's on the ice again against Steinbach. So you can watch it all at hockeycanada.ca. Good?
Good.
Good. Point 5 as we move on to the Canadian Football League. Sorry, Thad. We get complaints about this from our U.S. viewers, the hockey fans, but that's okay. We're the Golden Corral where we have a little bit of everything for everybody, and that's where we're going for supper tonight. Stick with me, everybody. 3downnation.com's power rankings are these. Number 1, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Number 2, the Toronto Argonauts. Number 3, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Number 4, the Calgary Stampeders. Number 5, the BC Lions. 6th, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 7th, Ottawa Redblacks. 8th, Edmonton Elks. 9th, the Montreal Alouettes. And they say the Alouettes, the worst team in the league. They've lost too much. My guy, Cody Fajardo's there's the quarterback, and he's got God on his side. That should count for something. And me. Do you agree with those power rankings or not? I don't agree. I'm putting Ottawa last. I'll put Montreal up as far as 7th.
I think you take 6, 7, 8, throw them in a blender, or the bottom 3, you put them in a blender and let them doesn't matter what order they come out. I think they're all trying to prove themselves, as they should. I actually like them. I actually don't have an argument with the power rankings right now. I really don't. You know, BC has lost really the MVP of the league in Nathan Rourke, and you come back with Vernon Adams Jr., who's very capable. He's proven that he can play in this league and be a starting quarterback. I think they're good. There's been a lot of changes in Saskatchewan. That's another one that's really tight, whether you'd maybe flip those two teams or not. But no, I like the power rankings from 3 down. So bravo, guys. I think they got it pretty close.
Troy in Toronto watching says all pro sports teams cheat to an extent. Pushing the envelope is a strategy to win. Arlen Bruce III writes, and he says, it's like me when I play poker and the 65-year-old guy next to me lifts his cards up so we can both see. You have to be very disciplined to look the other way. I'm a victim. Waved him right in front of my face.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? That's what I said.
John Ohm says the word of the day, cheat. C-H-E-A-T. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, as Rod likes to say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I don't like to say that. That's just the way that it is. I go further into this with Florida Panthers, covering this team here that have been so great to me. And they're like, Rod, would you like to come to our morning skates? Would you like to come to our news conference? Would you like to come to our media? I'm like, no, I don't want to be around the team really at all. I want to do this here right now, do this show, and then go to the games. Then I don't want to be around. I don't want to know what anybody's doing. Is that fair? Just like this Aaron Judge thing. I want to know what goes on between the baselines, on the hardwood, on the ice, between the sidelines. I don't want to know anything else. It makes the experience so much better.
Well, as a fan, it absolutely does. They say once you start covering your favorite team, you stop liking your favorite team. You know, because there's always going to be stuff behind the scenes that make you, you know, when you unveil the curtain and you find out how the hot dog is made.
You don't want to know.
You're not as excited about the hot dog.
You wouldn't need it.
No, you wouldn't. And unfortunately, the teams are the same way. And it's not that the teams are all bad news, bad people, bad whatever. But you learn that it's a business. When you're a fan, it's just fun and games. But when you see what's going on, you realize it's a business.
Aaron Judge might have been stealing signs last night. And you're all surprised. Like, come off it. Moose, we'll give our movie review a little later on, okay? A sports update before we break. The Arizona Coyotes are about to learn the fate of a proposed entertainment district that would include a new arena for the team. Tempe, Arizona residents are voting on a referendum today that will determine whether plans for the $2.3 billion Tempe Entertainment District, TED, will move forward. The team is currently playing in the Mullet Arena at ASU campus. TSN, Canada's sports leader in the Canadian Elite Basketball League, announced today that TSN's all-new direct-to-consumer streaming platform, TSN Plus, will showcase all 107 CEBL games this season, including the postseason and championship weekend. The CEBL regular season schedule includes 10 tripleheaders and 24 doubleheaders, with 38 games falling on weekends. The 10 teams are these. From the Western Conference, the Calgary Surge, Edmonton Stingers, Saskatchewan Rattlers, Vancouver Bandits, and the Winnipeg Sea Bears. The Eastern Conference includes the Brampton Honey Badgers, Montreal Alliance, Niagara River Lions, Ottawa Blackjacks, and Scarborough Shooting Stars. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas in theaters June 2nd. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales returns for the next chapter of the Oscar-winning Spider-Verse saga, an epic adventure that will transport Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man across the multiverse to join forces with Gwen Stacy. In theaters June 2nd, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We'll be right back. It is your favorite daytime sports talk show live on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, your favorite podcast platform, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit
Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Just another beautiful day in South Florida as the RP show continues on Game Plus and WQEE Radio. By the way, folks, Bet Regal is our exclusive betting partner. Coming up in hour 2, our Deal or No Deal round 3 Stanley Cup playoff picks. And Bet Regal invites you to play our free PGA Championship contest to win a foursome at a golf course near you. Visit betregal.net/PGA to play now. But we're talking hoops, and I got to be honest, if we can bring in Richard Petko, the owner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. He's a guy that I've been wanting to chat with for a long time, Richard. You may or may not know this. Been a big fan since year 1 for you guys. I know you're now going into year 5. And a huge announcement today. Congratulations on TSN Plus carrying all your games, Game of the Week. Can we start there, Richard, on this wonderful relationship with TSN and the Canada's biggest pro league?
Well, Rod, thanks a lot. I saw you actually named off all 10 of our teams. That was great to hear. There was no stammer in there, so I know we exist. And this is a game changer for us. We're going to be on the main network as well. 13 games, all playoff games and championship finals will be on TSN main network. However, as you said, every single one of our games will also be on the TSN Plus distribution platform. So this is going to, I think, elevate our league in the eyes and minds of all Canadians, not just basketball fans or sports fans, because TSN is ubiquitous to this country.
Canada's sports leader, there's no two ways about it. And by the way, I'm not joking when I say I got a lot of questions for you. I've wanted to chat with you for a long time. Any friend of Mike Morreale is a friend of mine. And it's hard to believe. I call ourselves startup cousins because we started around the same time. We're in year 5, you're in year 5. And it's kind of hard to believe, isn't it, Richard, that people are just finding you now or are just finding us now? Because it feels it's been a long grind to get here, right?
You know what, Ron? It's a business. Every business is hard. And I have friends, family friends, close friends who still don't know what the CBL is. I got to explain it to them. I'm talking 2 weekends ago at a barbecue. So how's that basketball thing you've been involved in? So it's a grind. It's 5 years, as you said. And, it's great to hear Mike's a friend. Obviously, we have another Lee Genier we both know as well. And from day 1 to whatever day it would be now, 1,400 and something else, it's been a grind. It's a business. It's sports. It's fun, but it's hard work. And honestly, it's the fact that we're in year 5 through all the stuff that's happened these last few years and getting on TSN, it's a testament to everybody involved in the league and with all the teams. I tip my hat to them every single day that we've got this far.
You know what? So do I. And I've been going to the games for 4 years. This will make 5. And I want to ask you, what was you've never had that we've made it moment, because the second you think that, you haven't. But was it when your players started to go to the NBA? Or was it this deal with TSN? Or what was it, Richard, for you?
On a basketball level, getting those guys in the NBA, having 6 or 7 or 8 CBL players play on NBA, not just signings, but get court time, I think that's a real testament to the quality of basketball we have. And now the TSN deal, obviously we knew about it a month and a half ago inside-wise. That was the one we've all been rubbing our hands together, waiting to announce, and knowing that's truly the next step of becoming Canada's next great sports league. I was listening, you cover the CFL, you talk a lot about it, and I'm one of the few people in, I think, east of Winnipeg who loves the CFL and follows it more than the NHL or baseball. And my goal always with the CBL has been to make a Canadian league, one that's going to be around for 100 years. And I think we're very, very well on our way to doing that.
What I'm interested, because it is a story of survival. Because I watched the games in the bubble in St. Catharines on CBC, and I was like, how are they doing this? It's literally like if COVID didn't finish this league, nothing will. But that had to be the most trying experience, not only of this league's existence, but maybe, Richard, of your life. That didn't look easy.
It wasn't easy. Honestly, I had nothing to do with it. I just told Mike, you guys can do this. I know you can pull it off. Figure out something to do. And they did it. They pulled it off. And from all that crap or whatever, something good came out of it. Our games, at that point, we got on CBC. We had national coverage on Saturdays. So, at the end of the day, the bubble helped, because before the bubble, we weren't even going to be, I think, on national television in any way. And so from, there's all those things, from all bad things come good things, from all negatives come growth. And that's how everyone in the office and every organization has looked at it, that, let's keep moving forward. And that's what's happened. And you look today, you mentioned the 10 teams. We have Winnipeg as a new team with a great owner in David Asper. A huge family in Winnipeg has bought into the league, bought into our passion. In Calgary, that's a new team with 2 solid owners in there, members of the Calgary community. Edmonton, we sold this past offseason, again, to 2 local entrepreneurs and businessmen. And the Vancouver Bandits were sold in the offseason as well. So we now have local owners in 5 or 6 of our markets who believe in the league, believe in their teams, and frankly are super, super connected to their communities. And I almost forgot about the Scarborough Shooting Stars, who entered the league last year. And now this is their second year, again, with an amazing ownership group. And an owner who just recently now, Sam Ibrahim, just donated $25 million to the University of Toronto to build a new building at Scarborough campus. So, the man is invested in the city and the team and education. And this is what the CEBL is about, to be part of communities, to be part of sports communities, and to also be part of the fabric of Canada.
Well, I just want to roll it back a little bit and say, people, are you listening? Listen to what Richard said. Are you going to let challenges finish you, or are you going to let overcoming those challenges define you? That's what this man's all about. This is why I wanted to get with you, Richard. I can't wait until we can meet face to face, because I love the story. This is selling it to our viewers and Canadians, and even our viewers in the United States. But I want to say this, a couple things. We could go on for ages. We only have a couple minutes left here. But number one, Jason Ribeiro in Calgary, the owner or president of the Surge. That dude got fire in his eyes. We had him on our show a couple weeks ago. He wants to win this whole thing in his first year. I'm like, Jason, calm down. But I can't wait to go to the games, because the venue, the event, it's So I'm like, this is NBA. This is, I guess, if you said mini NBA, I hope you wouldn't feel that as an insult. It's professional. There's smaller venues in most cases.
Yeah, it's all about the show as well, right? And Jason, that guy's got a silver tongue. I wish I could talk like him as well. And they are out to win. They're out to do things the right way. I'll be out there for the Niagara River Lions game on Tuesday, May 30th, I believe, if I got the date right. So maybe I'll see you there on that day. And that's exactly what we need. We need to be in probably, Calgary is one of Canada's, most vibrant up and coming cities, if not the most. Everyone there is young, everything's new. This thing's going to go there. I have no doubt Calgary's going to embrace this. And once they show up there at the Winsport Arena, people are going to want more. And once they come and they see the quality of play, the show that goes on there, as you said, it's an NBA experience. It's not your old, 20 years ago startup basketball league that people were playing out of high school gyms. We're taking it to another level, and you're going to get what you pay for.
I can't wait. Yes, I will be there. So hopefully we can get some time together. Maybe even sit side by side. The last time I was there, BCLA.
We'll have a beer at least, or at least a beer together.
Yeah, I sat with Mike Morielli. It was great. Well, Richard, now I see why everybody that knows you loves you. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep rolling, and let's do this again. Good luck with the season this year.
Thank you very much. Anytime you want me on, Rod, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The owner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League and an all-around great guy, Richard Petko. Speaking of great guys, the Moose will rejoin us next. We've got Adriano Belli, the Kissing Bandit, coming up in hour 2 with a story you're not going to want to miss. We're live on the Game Plus television network across all 10 Canadian provinces and 31 U.S. states. We're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Also on podcast form and live streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Woody's RV World presents the Summer Football Road Trip, hosted by The Rod Pedersen Show and Engelheim. Tickets now available at rodpedersen.com. Charter transport, accommodations at the beautiful Hotel Clique, June 23rd to 25th. All the details at rodpedersen.com.
Center for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that just scream hockey town? Of course it does. Beautiful South Florida. Getting ready for the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final. The poll question, by the way, for Key Auto Group is who is the Stanley Cup favorite now? Dallas, Vegas, Florida, or Carolina? And by the way, Key Auto Group has the largest selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland area. Cars, trucks, SUVs. Your journey begins at keyautogroup.ca. And Vegas leading, I saw on Twitter. Any update, Clark, on YouTube, what they're saying there, if you don't mind me asking? It's between Florida and whom? And Vegas? Oh, wow. Okay. And Ward in Winnipeg, watching on Game Plus television, says, this is just hilarious. Cheating in baseball? You made my morning in Winnipeg. LOL. Why the big... Whether Aaron Judge stole signs last night of the Yankees in Toronto, who cares? Why are you acting surprised? Darren Moose DuPont joins us here. As you know, our sports updates are a presentation of our good friends at Landmark Cinemas. We went to a U.S. theater last night, and it's always fun to do movie reviews, especially when you and I go together. It's the show Blackberry, and you kind of forget. 15 years ago, I guess, was a long time. Like, the older you get, you realize time flies.
Yeah.
But when you looked, so it's the story of Blackberry. Research in Motion, Jim Balsillie, and a bunch of guys I'd never heard of. Darren, why don't you take over? I've been talking for 40 minutes.
By the way. It's Balsley.
Whatever.
He made a point in the movie to
Balsley.
everybody.
Balsley.
But I'm always ball silly. Like, I thought that's what it was. That's what TSN called him. That's what all the networks called him when he was trying to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hey, he came in there and just took over Research in Motion, a bunch of computer geeks that were trying to build the smartphone and the network. And, you know, it is a cool story because it's such an iconic brand in our history, North American history, not just Canadian history. And, you know, it's funny, when the movie comes on, I'm like, this is a movie playing in the U.S. and all these major theaters. It's across Canada. And it shows up on the thing, and it's just like Ontario Creative Fund, CBC Films. It's like this uber Canadiana movie, Waterloo Kitchener on the water tower and the whole deal. But it's a great movie.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah,
it was
pretty good if you're into that. And I thought it was neat. It was really funny watching Jim Balsillie build that company and then totally be kind of finished with the company because his new fixation was the National Hockey League, which we know how that turned out.
Well, do we? I mean, again, it was 15 years ago. I think a lot of people are going to want to go and watch the movie. And for instance, there's a lot of great comments in here. I'm going to push them into hour 2, including yours, Ted and Red Deer, regarding developmental leagues. I love it. From Craig Smith, our director of scouting, Smitty says, so many people had a BlackBerry. Listen, I was the victim of the crackberry.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to give it up. And one of our sponsors at the time, he's not a sponsor anymore, but from a cell phone dealer, he's like, Rod, you're going to have to give up your BlackBerry. I said, no! And he's like, no, they're going to be obsolete. iPhone's taking them over. I'm like, okay. Pried my fingers off. I didn't want to give it up. John in Edmonton says, I watched the movie. What did you think about the Gary Bettman / NHL stuff in the movie? We walked out of the theater, Moose and I, he goes, do you really think that happened? That he lost his mind in the NHL Board of Governors boardroom? And I'm like, well, how do we know, right? You dress it up for Hollywood.
You do. And I saw the interview with Balsillie that I was telling you about after. I went and listened to it last night, and it said about 5% of the movie's factually accurate, and the rest is dressed up for Hollywood.
We have a surprise viewer, Gino DePaoli, writing in, the voice of the Tigers. He says, remember the Blackberry Storm? Was so good, but so bad. Gino DePaoli's engaged. I meant to say this. I'll say it now. Tired of being happy, Gino?
How about that?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Gino. Tying the knot. Hour 2 coming up after this brief pause.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
So, is there anything you want to say before we get serious about sports talk, about this being episode 1,000?
Yeah, it's a big deal that we have 1,000 episodes. I mean, we thought it was a big deal, and it was a big deal to get on the air with episode 1. It was a really big deal to get to episode 100, and now it's a huge deal to get on the air for episode 1,000. But the show doesn't happen without you being behind the mic for 1,000 shows.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's hour 2 of the RP Show coming at you live on the Game Plus Television Network. WQEE Radio in Atlanta. We are Atlanta's NHL show. Put that on my tombstone, Moose. Yeah. Let me turn up my headphones here. We're having fun. We're in the South Florida studio. Moose joins me here out on the Line A. Again, they call it a lanai. A screened-in backyard porch here in Florida, but I call it the Line A, and nobody gets the joke but Canadians. And maybe Jeff Rimmer, the voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Get it.
We're going to get into some more fun here. If you just tuned in for hour 2, we had a lot of fun in hour 1. We talked about the Stanley Cup Playoffs to this point. Aaron Judge being accused by the Blue Jays of stealing signals, and that led to his longest home run of the year last night. Cheating in baseball, breaking. Stop the presses.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm sorry. We're not the Blue Jays show. There's enough of those shows. We're also on national television in 2 countries. Enough people are talking about that. We're talking about the movies. And the movie Blackberry last night. I can't believe so many people are getting into this. Go see it at your local Landmark cinemas if you can. And I'll get to your questions in a moment. We're going to back up the truck here. This came in near the end of hour 1. Again, the movie Blackberry is about the story of the very first smartphone. God, it was good when you think about it. Came home. Serena did not come with us. She asked me about the movie, and I said, you said it was great. I would say it's between good and great.
Yeah.
It looked like a CBC production. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it had a Degrassi feel.
Yeah.
Would you not?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But to go back to, from the viewers here, Jeff Uremkos, he's watching in Southern Ontario. He says, Jim Balsillie is a legend in Hamilton. He led an unsuccessful bid to bring the NHL to the city. Gary Bettman wouldn't allow it, of course. Too close to Toronto and Buffalo. LOL. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I never had a BlackBerry, but I sometimes wish I had given them a try just so I could comment on how good or bad they were. Yes?
Well, in the movie, and not that this is a spoiler, but we all know he doesn't bring the team to Hamilton, doesn't buy the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it wasn't about Gary Bettman not allowing him to, at least according to the movie. Again, we say 5% factual. But they said to him, if you stop bragging to your rich buddies about the Hamilton Penguins, all the other owners, 26-0 or whatever it was, voted down that they weren't going to, because, you're not going to buy the team telling them you're going to move them to Hamilton. You buy them and then move them. And I think Gary was on board with that, but he's like, you brag to your rich friends. Now nobody wants to sell you the team.
Well, from BW says, in Edmonton says, I was BlackBerry right till the end. Android edition. I love it. I guess he's not an iPhone guy. I couldn't live without my iPhone. Jeff the Stamps fan says, my first BlackBerry has an actual keyboard. Yes, I didn't think I could live without the keyboard. I'm serious. The touch screen, what?
Yeah.
But it's from a different time. And before we move on, it reminded me of good/bad times in my life. I remember I had 2 cell phones going on, one for work, one for personal. And my boss said, you need a BlackBerry at the time. I remember that changed my life the day he said, you need a BlackBerry. You're doing so much work and you're on the go all the time. So I went and got a BlackBerry. And I feel bad for my family because anybody that thinks I'm on my phone too much now should have seen me then. Right? The voice of 2 teams at one time, hosting a talk show, doing morning sports on the radio. My God, I was always on the go. And I feel bad because I was on my phone too much. But I was a different person back then in terms of I'm watching Jim Balcelli like lose his mind on the staff. You think I'm intense now, Darren. You should have seen me then. You should have seen. He was yelling at his tech guy, the nerd. And he was like he was on the payphone.
Yeah.
He was beating the payphone so hard into the payphone, he snapped it in half.
He broke it in half.
I'm like, that. Guilty as charged right here. But you couldn't see me doing that now, could you?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, before we get into the actual sports talk, although I kind of feel like we are, and Darren skimmed over it real fast. There was a scene from in the boardroom of the NHL Board of Governors where Bettman said to Balsillie, if you hadn't big-mouthed all your rich friends, you were going to move the Penguins to Hamilton, you might have had a chance. But you've been voted down 26-0.
Yeah.
By the NHL owners, get out of here. And then you want to see somebody snap. That's when I realized, Darren, this guy might be literally unstable. I think Jim Balsilli's unstable. He certainly displayed that. Yeah, he displayed that. That's why we're walking out of the theater here last night in Boca Raton, Florida. And Darren's like, how accurate do you think that was? I'm like, well, let's ask Gary the next time we see him, my buddy Gary.
Exactly.
And now our afternoon. Here's our afternoon. I had to cancel a haircut. Because we've decided we're going to go down to FLA Live Arena, the home of the Florida Panthers and the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final. We're going to go down there and tool around. And this is what I hope somewhere along the line that Darren's picked up some tips from me, because why do you think I know every usher's name in the arena and every security guard? And I always stop to see them because guess what? On an off day like today, they're probably hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
So you show up at the back door and go, hey, I know there's nothing going on, but can you get me and my buddy? He's in from Canada. He wants to have a look around. They always let you in.
Always.
So we're going to drive down to Sunrise. It's 27 miles from where we sit right now. And then
the main event.
It's time. The Golden Corral, America's finest buffet. What do you think?
I'm excited. Because the one and only time I was in a Golden Corral was in Houston on our first sports
And it was underwhelming.
Well, it was underwhelming. You were underwhelmed because it was not a big one. It was a small one. I was underwhelmed because I'm still battling / overcoming food poisoning. So I couldn't actually eat anything anyways. Wasn't that interested in going around for seconds and thirds. So I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Haven't ate a lot the last couple days, kind of building for this.
The Golden Corral. Oh, yeah, it's the greatest buffet place I've ever been.
Oh, can't wait.
Got you worked up yet?
Got me excited.
I remember this. First time I ever went to a Golden Corral was in South Florida. I was coming down to cover Rough Rider Camp. I had my color guy with me, Luke Mullender. We'd landed at the airport, drove straight to the Golden Corral. He popped the trunk of our rental car. He pulled out a towel and threw it over his shoulder, knowing that he was going to need it. So that's where we're going. From Craig Smith, our director of scouting, he says, don't eat lunch. We won't. From Carlos in Indianapolis, he says, the Golden Corral of sports talk goes to the Golden Corral. Yes, we're at the nexus of the universe. Seinfeld line. Allie in Texarkana says, because it's not Bonanza. Bonanza's in a separate category. Just as good, just different.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just as good, but different. Okay. Trent in Norway says, Norway here. Is Darren staying long enough in Florida to catch a Panthers playoff game?
That's a no from me, dog. But I may come back. especially if they advance past this round.
Like everybody that comes here, he's trying to find a way to extend his stay.
Yes. Trying
to find nefarious means to do it. Jason in Winnipeg. He says, texted on the 902 line, he says, look at the way Chevy did it. He stayed quiet and was able to buy a team. The NHL wants you to shut your mouth. Also, I miss my BlackBerry. Love that phone. And then he just put asterisk, Chipman, he meant. Isn't that interesting? They're like, we're going to sneak in and buy the Atlanta Thrashers, and we're not going to tell anybody that we're going to move them to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I just happen to be from Winnipeg and own 80% of downtown Winnipeg. But yeah, we're going to keep the team in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's funny, Jason.
How that works.
Thanks for pointing that out.
But also on the Balsillie thing, if he hadn't done that either, you'd think we would have heard from him amongst other teams, other sales. You know, we haven't heard from him since, right? He's done. He's out. So the bridge, I think, is burned to the ground.
Balsillie?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised?
No.
No. Like, I'm looking at that going, I'm kind of that guy, except I did a life hack.
Yeah.
Whereby I don't want to be this raging maniac.
Right.
Because I was. Because he just takes a flamethrower. He doesn't burn bridges. He blows them up.
That NHL thing might have been the 5% that was accurate.
How about that?
Elam Wilson writes in, and I appreciate him for doing so. He says, are you guys going to the Memorial Cup out in Kamloops, and are you following the Centennial Cup? Thank God for asking about my beloved leagues, Junior A and Major Junior, because I do have it written down. And by the way, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to find a comment that came in here earlier from Ted and Red.
Yeah, the developmental league.
Yeah, I just found it. Here's what's happening today at the Centennial Cup in Portage, Manitoba, where I would love to be there. It didn't work out for us to be there. Again, I can't be in two places at once. It's the bane of my existence, nor three. I'm pretty happy with where I ended up. But had we been in Portage, we'd be what? It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. 11:11 Mountain. Oh. Visualize a positive outcome. And we are. It's the Cam River Fighting Walleye. They're 0-3. They're playing the Collingwood Blues. It's an all-Ontario matchup today in Portage. Did you know that, Ontario? The Brooks Bandits, the reigning champions, are 3-0. They will take on the Cobra de Terrebonne. Sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
They're 1-0-1, the Quebec team. The Battleford's North Stars, my rooting interest, take a 2-1 record up against the Steinbach Pistons, who are 1-1-1. So are we following it? Yes. And tonight, Game 3, the Dub final, Winnipeg at Seattle. It's on TSN. The series is tied 1-1. So we had the owner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League on earlier, one Richard Petko. And I just knew from what I'd heard from my friends that know him, he's the kind of guy that I would like.
Yeah.
And we virtually connected, I would say. Except for I think he said we'd have to have a beer together at the Calgary Surge games. And I'm like, oh, they didn't tell him that one. Ted, he said the greatest thing for the CEBL to hang their hat on as they head into year 5 is their players they've sent to the NBA. And there's been a few, more than a handful. Ted in Red Deer says, so when a player goes from the Canadian Elite Basketball League to the NBA, that's a positive. But when a player goes from the CFL to the NFL, the CFL takes it as a negative. Just saying. Dude, it's a CFL thing. You know?
Yeah. It really is. It's like an inferiority thing. And it's unfortunate. They take it as a negative, but you shouldn't. I mean, the league wants to, it's a pro league, so it's hard to wrap your mind around being a developmental league. And it's not really a traditional developmental league in ways that your players are always going pipeline every year, and that's the idea, like NCAA football. But it can be a developmental league. It doesn't have to be number one, and there's goals of moving up to, you know, the NFL. And you just got to be okay with that. I think we just have to be okay with it. It is what it is. And that's okay.
The narrow-minded tunnel thinkers in the CFL can't see that Cameron Wake down here in South Florida, all the great things he did with the Dolphins. What did they always say? He came from the CFL and the BC Lions.
Yeah.
What do they say about Alex Singleton? He was the Canadian of the Year in the CFL. Alex Singleton now making a cool $19 million in Denver.
Adam Schefter says this. ESPN, NFL Network, they talk about it. And they mention the Canadian Football League. You know, Tom Pelissero and these insiders mention top CFL players that may be coveted free agents coming into the NFL. They talk about it, and they think highly of the league. They don't look down at the Canadian Football League. They do look at it for what it is, a good pro league where you might get some talented players coming to the NFL.
From Jeff, the Stamps fan, he says you can't compare the CFL to the CEBL. You can, and we are. From the hockey podcast, the Hockey Club podcast, watching in Tallahassee, Florida, he says, Golden Corral, tell me your new Southerners. So cute. No. I'm the Southerner now, and I'm hosting him, your friend Daryl, which incidentally, he always says, say hi to Daryl.
Yeah. It was a Ron Duguay.
Right.
He called me Daryl.
Right, but Corey Pedersen always
Daryl
says, say hey to Daryl. He's in visiting me here on the Line A, and we're going to the Golden Corral. Like, if you don't want to go, I took Serena one time, and she's like, I'm good. I don't need to go back.
No, it's on.
She's a fitness professional. You don't see a lot of fitness professionals at the Golden Corral.
It's on the list. We got to go.
Yeah, it's on the list. What a great day. FLA Live Arena in the Golden Corral. What more could you want? Although, one more story from when I was with Luke Mullender at the West Palm Beach Golden Corral. There was a table of a couple. He looked like a little like Eminem, but more tattoos.
Okay.
And a muscle shirt, and his wife and 3 kids, and they were wasting the desserts. They were taking like 18 pieces of pie, 1 bite from each, and I'm like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something. And Luke's like, you're not going to say anything. He's got his towel over his, holds me down, and I'm like, that's disrespectful. That's wasting the food. That's where I was raised, man. Waste not, want not. Eat all you, order all you want, but eat all you order. Those were all things I was from. I'm like, I'm going to say something. And having Luke with me, I felt pretty safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't end up saying anything because I guess if the people from the Golden Corral weren't going to say anything or get upset about wasting the food, it's a damn food shortage. 5 million kids in China never seen a piece of pie.
How about
worked
that?
Up when it comes to the Golden Corral. We have our conference final picks coming up for Bet Regal. Deal or no deal after this break. We're live across Canada and 31 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, your favorite podcast platform, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
In the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Your favorite daytime sports talk show is on the air. And by the way, folks, Bet Regal is Canada's betting platform for every bettor, from beginner to expert. You can sign up to play at betregal.net and play for free today with the Play Free Sportsbook. They're asking you to enter Bet Regal's free PGA Championship contest to win a foursome at a golf course near you. Visit betregal.pga to play now. Well, we're very excited to welcome our next guest, the Kissing Bandit. I haven't seen him in far too long, Adriano Belli. For our U.S. visitors and listeners, he broke into pro football with the Atlanta Falcons in 2000. He hasn't aged a day. He looks like $1 million. How you doing, Adriano?
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. I've just been selling sausage and saving lives.
I bet. Two-time Grey Cup champion, by the way. Three-time All-Star. Falcons, Giants, Cleveland Browns, and across the CFL with mostly the Eastern teams. Before we tell some stories here, can you tell the folks the reason you're on, Adriano, and this wonderful initiative that you got going on this spring?
All right. I'm sorry. I'm in the car here, so I'm trying to find something that makes the steering wheel not completely covering things.
You look good now.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thought we'd do another charity event. Through my career, I had a lot of fun times doing stuff for the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. And thought it was time we start to do some more events lately. So obviously, family business. I've been in the meat processing industry with my family since I was a little bambino. And we thought, you know what, we do a lot of smoked sausages for all the major supermarket chains across Canada. And we thought, let's break the world record for the largest smoked sausage and crush our brothers and sisters south of the border and just show again that Canada's better at everything.
Okay, so now let's back it up a little bit. Whose idea was this? Who's getting the credit? Or was it a team effort?
I'd say it's a team effort. My brother and I, we opened a new factory in Georgetown, Ontario. And we thought, well, we got to do something with a bang for this new factory and kind of just put our mark on the industry. But also, we certainly wanted to tie my favorite charity with sick kids and, just brag about stuff that's made in Canada with Canadian ingredients raised from pork and beef made on Canadian farms. I say it all the time, playing in the CFL, I didn't feel how Canadian I was until I got a chance to play in the CFL and visit every single city and party in every city of Canada and kiss beautiful Canadian ladies in every city of Canada. This is about celebrating what's best of Canada this upcoming Thursday.
Okay, well, there seems to be some consternation over the largest smoked sausage in the world. So tell me tell me about this. You're going to set the record.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's been many sausage world records over the years and in various parts of the world, but they've primarily been raw sausages and a small diameter and very long, like thousands of feet long. We're going with the largest single link sausage. It's about the diameter of a basketball, and it's over 20 feet long, and the largest smoked single link sausage in a conventional smokehouse. Kind of emulates the smoked sausages that we have in market today through most of the supermarkets.
Okay, now you mentioned Thursday. We're unveiling it that day. You're making it that day. You're eating it that day. What's going to go down on Thursday?
So this big sucker is being stuffed today. Grind all this Canadian pork and Canadian beef, and we're making it a cheddar smoky, by the way. We wanted to make it something special. So it's being ground and blended and stuffed into this huge casing today. Tomorrow it is being cooked and smoked in our large, huge smoke ovens that smoke with natural Canadian wood chips. And then we're going to be unveiling this sucker just in time for the May 2-4 weekend, which you can't get more Canadiana than the May 2-4 weekend. It's gonna be exciting. Arash Madani from Sportsnet is going to be our MC for the event. So this is going to be one hell of a kickoff to the May 2-4 weekend.
Hey, the biggest hot dog that we know. He was just on this show yesterday. And by the way, for all of our viewers, Adriano, would you retire was it right after the 2012 season? You went out a winner, Adriano? Was that the deal?
Yeah. I conveniently got kicked out of that game. No surprise for an ejection in true Belly fashion. And then that was it. I was retired the year before, and they brought me back for that Grey Cup run. For the 100th Grey Cup, and I was honored to do that. And it was fun being with all the young boys, and I felt like the old man on the team. I brought my espresso maker, put it in my locker, and away we went to the Grey Cup that year. That was fun.
Well, it's funny. I won't keep you much longer, maybe 3 more minutes. But for our viewers, any longtime football fans will remember the name, but anybody that hasn't, because he's been retired over a decade. That seems like it wasn't that long ago, right? But drafted, it was in the 2000, CFL draft by BC, but he's from Toronto, nicknamed the Kissing Bandit. Do you know you have a Wikipedia page? And if you do, Adriano, have you read it lately? It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they say some of my accolades of doing bad boy things on the field, probably. But you know what? I had such a fun time playing. I don't think anyone had more fun than me playing this game, especially in the CFL. It was a chance to be a kid well into my 30s. And again, I talked to some of the old time guys like O'Shea a couple months ago. And when we were playing, we got to play the game and stay in that Canadian city the night after we played the game. I think all the boys are getting back on the planes these days and heading back to their hometowns. So during my era, being able to party in every major Canadian city after a long week of practicing and getting ready to go to war, I got a chance to experience all of our great cities in Canada. And, my CFL career was such a gift. And they also, I had some amazing coaches like Don Matthews, Pinball, Stubler. And these were guys that allowed me to be me. Lancaster, they kind of let me do what I wanted to do on the field, and I had so much fun. I had fun.
That included
you guys are in Regina.
Yeah,
you guys are in Regina, correct? Yeah, I had so much fun playing in Regina over the years. Some of the best fans in the world for any sport, and I loved how much they hated me.
Well, I was going to say, you're a pretty hard person to trash talk. I mean, I'm in South Florida now, but I was the voice of the Rough Riders for 20 years, and you were a hard guy to dislike. But are you telling me Rider fans found a way? Is that what you're telling me?
I had fun with the Riders. And I remember at one point, you guys had a jacuzzi on the field, and I would make a point of getting in that jacuzzi after every game. I thought that was such a cool thing. But I loved
in the
how
south
much
end zone.
Yes, I remember there would be rabbits every once in a while on the field, and I loved that field so much. I'm sure the new stadium is beautiful.
Ooh, you got to come up for that. But I'm sure everybody's racing to Google Adriano Belli if you didn't already know him. And the first thing that comes up is the Kissing Bandit. Who is the most, what should I say, oddest person you kissed in your career? And B, did you ever get in trouble for it?
Well, it gets me in trouble a little bit today with, we sell to major retailers across Canada and the U.S., and when I'll give somebody a smooch, they'll be like, oh, what's this guy touching me for? But it's I've been doing it since I was a kid. I'd say it really kind of took wind with Don Matthews when I was playing for him in Montreal. And I remember saying that to him before a series. I said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to kill this quarterback. And I ended up, was lucky enough to get a sack that drive, and I came back and I laid a big smooch on him, and I think that TSN got it perfectly on camera, and he was so grumpy. And I remember he called me after the game into his office, and he said, "Hey dog, don't you ever do that again." And I was like, okay, no problem. And then the media got a hold with it, and especially in Quebec, they thought it was amusing. And then he called me in his office the next day, and he's like, okay, you can keep doing it. The media liked it. And it kind of just took off from there. I think I was good at hamming it up, and it certainly lent itself to bringing some light to, we're not hockey players that couldn't be more boring when they get interviewed. Let's have some fun. The CFL is about being fun.
Well, I know. Well, hey, your guy Arash, this is how tight me and him are. He told me the very first stand-up you two did together on Sportsnet, you squeezed him in a place that he wasn't expecting to be squeezed.
Yes. So I had so much fun working for Sportsnet between my retirements, and Raj and I actually covered a Super Bowl together, and that was a tremendous amount of fun. He would make fun of me because I didn't like watching sports. I was more focused on the cheerleaders. But Arash is a beautiful man.
He is absolutely that. So, okay, we'll wind it up on this. Can you recap what you guys got going on this week, culminating on Thursday, and how people can follow and support this?
Yes, so we have a big event on Thursday morning, Standard Eastern Time. At 11 o'clock, we'll be unveiling this humongous sausage, not Arash, the actual sausage. And it is going to set a tremendous amount, 3 or 4 world records, and it's all in charity for Sick Kids Hospital, which we're making a personal donation as well. We have a fund with sick kids called the Big Kiss Fund, and we're just going to have fun and celebrate being Canadian, everything that is Canadian, and Canadian products on the market. Canadian consumers need to buy Canadian products that are made by Canadians, that are grown by Canadians, and be proud to be Canadian, just like a CFL defensive tackle.
Well, you should be very proud of all you've done, and I know you are, and a great career you had. Adriano, so great seeing you, and that it's going so great. Thanks for the time today, and this wonderful record you're going to set. Yeah, same to you, sir. Wow. Thank you.
All
Ciao.
the best. Thank you for having me on, boys. Biggest kiss.
The great Adriano Belli, two-time Grey Cup champion, joining us from the Big Smoke. We've got a sports update coming up. Our Stanley Cup Conference final picks when Moose joins us after this break. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, streaming your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE Radio 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Turn it up, Moose. I can turn it up. The Royal Coronation music. We got Darren Moose Dupont here. It's time to play Deal or No Deal for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Who wore it better, King Charles or the host of the Rod Pedersen Show? That was a pathetic what was that, Coronation March?
It was actually called Coronation Anthem number 1.
Yeah, well, it didn't work.
I took my shot. Okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've kind of quite got the robe straight. The NHL's conference finals are set. The Dallas Stars eliminated the Seattle Kraken 2-1 in Game 7 Monday night. The Stars will meet the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals, which will begin Friday in Las Vegas. The Carolina Hurricanes, meanwhile, will host the Florida Panthers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final on Thursday night. So we're going to play Deal or No Deal now for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. It's very simply, I don't have the odds yet. We're going to get to them over the next couple of days. It's our picks here right now for who are going to win these series. And since I'm the host and I'm wearing the crown, the king of Bet Regal will go first. And I'm going to take, okay, you ready for this, Moose? The Vegas Golden Knights will win a 6-game series over the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. And in the Eastern Conference Final, what do you think I'm going to do?
You're not going to take the Panthers?
No. The Carolina Hurricanes will win a 7-game series against the Florida Panthers, setting up a Stanley Cup final of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes. And who saw that coming? Write it down. Canes in 7 and the Golden Knights in 6. How about you?
You got a deal from me on the Golden Knights in 6. No deal to me on the Canes in 7. And I think the Canes win the series in 6 as well. I think they're both in 6, but you've got the same teams. I got Carolina, Vegas moving on to the final with you. I think Carolina's going to win the Cup. I'm sticking with them from day one. And Vegas, to me, seems like this is the year they finally break through and get to the final. I mean, they've been there, but they're not going to win it, but they're going to get past Dallas.
Well, obviously, there's a reason why I'm picking this, and that's why we can get deep into the sports betting angle. Do you go with your heart? Do you go with your head? I've been betting against the Florida Panthers all year long. Regular season, every round. I've been wrong. I said the Leafs in 6 last round, and they got schooled by the Florida Panthers in 5, so I'm going to keep betting against them. That's where I'm at right now. Nowhere did I ever say, read the fine print, Moose, to take my betting advice.
Right.
I'm not an odds maker, man. Bet Regal has their own. Those guys and gals know what they're doing. I do not. I will be cheering for the Florida Panthers, but I'm not picking them to win. I mean, what are the keys to the series in your mind? It's interesting because you and I were watching NHL Network last night. Steve Goldstein was on, the outstanding TV voice of the Florida Panthers, and he was talking about line matchups and analytics and stats. And I've been around this a long time, as has Goldie, but I don't think it's line matchups and X's and O's. It's Freddy's and Joe's. Who's going to have the best goaltender?
No, it's Freddy's and Bob's.
Freddy's and Bob's.
That's really what it is. You know, Bob is the key again to Florida. I mean, look, as a Toronto fan, I'm happy-ish with how they at least played in the last game. They put 55 shots at Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, what else do you want the team to do besides put some of those past him? He's good. He's playing well, and he's playing like a Conn Smythe winner. He's got to be right now the front runner to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Obviously, they got to finish the job. But for me, Rod Brind'Amour is my favorite coach in the National Hockey League. He's one of the best now coaches in the National Hockey League. And he's finally, really proven it with this team. They were really good in the last round, even though some of those games went the other way against Jersey. This is going to be a really, really good series and another huge test for Matthew Tkachuk and the Panthers.
Just checking the text line, the 902 text line, 902-518-3033. Pick up the phone and text RP. Ron Thompson, watching in Calgary on Game Plus Television, says, oh, look, it's King Raw. Great show. He says Carolina versus Vegas. Again, that was deal or no deal. Vegas in 6, Carolina in 7. And you are saying, what'd you say? You would take the Vegas deal, but not the Carolina deal.
Yeah, I want Carolina in 6.
How about that?
I'm really taking Carolina in that series.
I'll get to the rest of your comments in a moment. That includes those watching and listening on streaming. You can always listen on the radio, WQEE. The links are in my Twitter feed. Just follow @Rod Pedersen. It's very easy to find. We'll get to your comments on blackberries and stuff. Who thought that would have sparked such a wild discussion?
Big discussion.
Yeah.
And
Other sports updates, the Arizona Coyotes going to find out today the fate of a proposed entertainment district that would include a new arena. I love this. Tempe residents are voting on a referendum today that will determine whether plans for the $2.3 billion Tempe Entertainment District will move forward. How about TED?
That's good.
The NBA Western Conference Final tips off tonight in Denver as the top-seeded Nuggets host LeBron James and the LA Lakers. The Nuggets have lost all 7 times they've faced the Lakers in the playoffs, including inside the NBA bubble. Hey, folks, in theaters, June 9th at your local landmark cinemas, Transformer, Rise of the Beasts. Returning to the action and spectacle that have captured moviegoers around the world, Transformers, Rise of the Beasts will take audiences on a 90s globe-trotting adventure with the Autobots and introduce a whole new breed of Transformer, the Maximals, to the existing battle on Earth between Autobots and Decepticons. Tell me how it is, Moose.
I will.
We'll be back with overtime. It's like my dad complaining about UFC.
Yeah.
I came back and I said to my dad, Dad, you wouldn't believe it. The music was so loud at the UFC, but the skin on my face was shaking. You know when you go in a club and your clothes are shaking from the music? The skin on my face was shaking. My dad's like, well, I'd never go to that. I said, they don't want you. Just like Transformer Rise of the Beast.
That's right.
I'm not going to that. Guess what? They don't want me. That's something
I'll be there.
Something you'd be interested in.
I'll go.
Overtime is next with all the fun and frivolity right after this. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, podcast form, and streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Hi, everybody. It is the Florida studio, and Darren Moose Dupont is with me. We're on the air for overtime a little earlier than normal, which means it's given us a little extra time to play around here. Are you having a good time, Moose?
Great time, yeah.
He doesn't want to go home, and I get it. I get it. Fortunately for me, it is home. But overtime's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League. I got to dive back in here and see what they've been saying in streaming, because we haven't really looked at the viewers' comments for a while. I have not heard from Brian in Brantford today. Sorry, it's Bill in Brantford. Bill Dalby. I don't know where he is. I expect these people here every day. Bill, if you're watching, text us now. 902-518-3033. Of all the things, and I quite often like to say to Darren at the end of the show, what did we learn? It's these movie reviews that people love. And, you know, Blackberry, we went to it last night. Wonderful cinema.
Yeah.
Dougal Cameron in Calgary writes in regarding Blackberries. He says, every print sales guy and management all lived on their Blackberries.
Yes.
Then one day we saw the introduction of the iPhones by Steve Jobs in a movie theater. Well, that was covered very clearly, too. And I brought that up with Serena because she was like, well, BlackBerry just didn't keep pace with the iPhones. I said, that was covered in the show.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
It really was. They never kept pace, you know. Nobody wants a touch screen. They want the click. They want the click. And you start going nuts. And, you know, everything and everybody has a shelf life, and you need new blood and innovation all the time. And they ran their course. They were great. They were a mega giant, as they said. It was a status symbol to have a BlackBerry.
It was.
You were nothing. And now it's a status symbol to have an iPhone, you know. The Androids work just as good.
Yeah, I think it's getting to a point where it's a status symbol to not have an iPhone.
And now it's going to become that. Their shelf life is running out too. You know, the not innovating, and you know the iPhones really haven't changed in the last number of years. They've just gotten a little bit bigger and maybe a little faster and a bit better screen, but nothing's really changed. So there's an opportunity for somebody like a BlackBerry to come back in and re-innovate the phone.
902-518-3033, the number to text us. You got 8 minutes to do it. So get it in now, because we want to hear from you, including you, Ryan O'Radio in Atlanta. What do you got going on down there? What do you have for the Stanley Cup, Ryan O'Radio? I'd like to know that, because we are Atlanta's NHL show. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, Adriano Belli was a real character in the CFL. From Craig Smith, our director of scouting. LOL, I got a kiss from Adriano back in the day. From John Ohm, he says, Adriano Belli, you rock. You think about it now. I meant to say this earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. When I bring up John Frenzy, who we're talking about, he's the now 85-year-old Hall of Fame broadcaster of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I said, he's like my surrogate dad, almost my godfather now since mine passed. And as you know, we spent a lot of time together. That's why I do the bang-on Lynch impression.
So good.
And I used to say, John, do you ever sit back and just think, where did the years go? Like, where did the years go? And he's like, wow. You wait. One day it'll be decades that go by. And you say, where did that decade go? And I'm like, well, I get that too.
Yeah.
But 07, 08, like the BlackBerry, it was a quick rise and fall. You know, that's the one thing. I don't want to go back to the BlackBerry thing.
Yeah, no, it was. It didn't feel like it at the time.
No. There we go. Ryan O'Radio says, another great show. Did you have BlackBerries down there in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he did. But it's a Canadian company, man. You know, we can sit and pump our chests on that. A Canadian built it, and a Canadian screwed it up. How about that?
$20 billion. I mean,
screwed it up.
Not a small deal. But and it's not even about screwing it up. It's about he left.
Oh.
You know, he wanted his focus shifted to that NHL team.
Yeah, it's more to it than that, though.
Of course.
He fudged documents.
Well, that too.
You can't do that, Darren.
No,
just so you know.
Money he didn't have.
John Ohm says, I'm waiting for the RP show movie. Stay tuned, folks.
Oh, boy.
If they only knew. If they only knew. Well, hang on. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, who would play Rod? We got it all figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and tell him.
Well, it's going to be Vince Vaughn, and Jason Sudeikis will be the two main characters.
That's a hell of a tan you got there.
But it was funny when Alan the intern made an appearance in the movie last night. In the movie, and Alan will have a prominent role in our show, just so you know, when we have a movie.
Alan the intern was in the movie, Clark and Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, you guys got to go to it. Yeah, Jason Sudeikis playing me. Sorry, him, obviously. Vince Vaughn playing me.
They weren't interns, but it'll be the two interns looking at each other. How much they paying you? I don't think I should tell you that.
The more I think about it and talk about it, you got to go see the Blackberry movie.
It's good.
Now you see why Siskel and Ebert were so popular.
Yes.
They went to movies and talked about them on the air once a week. What a life. It was like Jeff Rimmer yesterday, the voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, I don't even understand how this is so hard to figure out because it's all there on my Twitter bio.
Yeah.
But Jeff was like, so you do this show just once a week? No, every day, Jeff. Oh, what a great show. I know. It's like the interview with Richard Petko earlier. We're in year 5. They're in year 5. People are just discovering us.
Yeah.
Troy in Toronto says, I went kicking and screaming the day I had to hand in my BlackBerry, and my boss handed me an iPhone. We covered that all last hour when we talked to you. You should go back and rewind it, Troy, because I did the exact same thing. Like, they threw me down and pulled it out of my hand. The crackberry. John Ohm says, I love this. RP show movie. Like, they really don't, you don't know how far, the screenplay's practically written.
Yeah. It can't be a movie. The movie.
No, it's got to be a series. It's too much.
It's got to be like an 8-season series.
So
and then the movie.
We sit around and we talk about this, guys. Like Luke Mullender, very close friend of mine. And Mike Abobechwick was part of this conversation. And we said, who's going to play Abu? Do you remember who Abu said was going to play?
Sinbad.
No. Abu said John Hamm would play Abu.
John Hamm. Yes, Abu.
And we're like, yeah, the most handsome person on earth is going to play you, Abu. No. And Luke goes, I know who's going to play Abu. Sinbad.
Yeah,
and Abu didn't talk to us for 3 days.
What's wrong with Sinbad?
I don't know. I'm with you. Who's going to play Clark? One of the Sedines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How about that?
One of the Sedines will play Clark. We still haven't cast Jordan yet.
No.
But that will be a very prominent role. We got a lot of casting.
We have people for some of our sponsors, past and present. We have actors for them.
Yeah.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I think Brent Butt should play Rod.
What?
Yeah, he's just being Jeff, the Stamps fan. Wayne in Victoria, BC, says, what I like is 10 hours a week on the air. LOL. Yeah, it's like a movie every day is what he's saying. You didn't have to worry about the series.
Yeah.
We have people cast as my former bosses.
Oh, yeah.
It's all written down. It's tucked away. It's in a safe.
Yeah.
Can you just, because that's a hell of a tan you got there. I said that in a business meeting not that long ago. Could you just see Vince Vaughn saying that? Last minute of play on the RP show. You could just see him saying that.
Oh, I know. I mean, it is. Where do you begin? It's endless. It's going to be out.
John Ohm in Winnipeg says, Still on my goals list to get Rod to golf. John, give it up. Find a more worthwhile goal or a more realistic one. Because you know what? You'd be about the 97th person that's tried to get me to do it. I don't like it. I'm not good at it. It's too expensive. It's too time-consuming. And it pisses me off. And for those 5 reasons, I don't do it. So stop bringing it up. Thanks. I love you. It ain't going to happen. So redirect your goals. Moose, it's been fun. Let's go to the Golden Corral in FLA Live Arena. This day is just getting better and better. We'll see you all tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on Game Plus and The Key.
Who has more fun than us?
Bob's your uncle.